In the 1970s, thousands of young Americans walked away from cities, jobs, and traditional family life. They moved into rural communes, shared land, shared labor, and believed food could be more than fuel. For hippies, eating was a statement. It was about rejecting consumer culture, embracing simplicity, and living closer to the earth. But behind the idealism and free love, there was a daily reality. People still had to eat. And what they ate inside those communes was often far different from what the outside world imagined. Today, we're looking at 5 foods hippies actually ate in 1970s communes, not the myths, but the meals that sustained everyday life. And if you enjoy exploring how ordinary Americans really lived, staying with this channel means staying close to the truth. 1. Brown rice and lentils. In many communes, brown rice and lentils became the backbone of daily meals. They were cheap, filling, and easy to cook in large batches for dozens of people at once. Bags of rice and lentils could feed an entire group for days, sometimes weeks, without relying on grocery stores. Cooked together with little more than salt, onions, and whatever vegetables were available, the dish wasn't exciting, but it was reliable. For hippies who rejected meat and processed food, this simple combination represented nourishment without excess. It wasn't about flavor. It was about sustainability and shared survival. 2. Homemade whole wheat bread. Store-bought bread was often avoided in communes, both for cost and ideology. Instead, many groups baked their own whole wheat bread using coarse flour, yeast, and water. Baking days became communal events, with loaves lined up on wooden tables and shared equally. The bread was dense, heavy, and sometimes uneven, but it filled stomachs and paired with almost anything. Spread with peanut butter, dipped into soup, or eaten plain, homemade bread symbolized self-reliance. For many hippies, making their own food felt like reclaiming control from a system they no longer trusted. 3. Vegetable stew from the garden. Most communes relied heavily on shared gardens, and vegetable stew became a daily reality. Whatever grew that week went into the pot. Potatoes, carrots, squash, cabbage, onions, and greens were chopped together and simmered for hours. Each batch tasted different, depending on the season and the soil. Sometimes it was rich and satisfying. Other times it was thin and bland. But it was always shared. One pot fed many people, reinforcing the idea that no one ate alone in commune life. 4. Yogurt and homemade cheese. Many communes experimented with making their own yogurt and simple cheeses, often inspired by Eastern European and Middle Eastern traditions. Milk was heated, cultured, and left to ferment in warm kitchens or barns. The results were unpredictable. Some batches turned out creamy and tangy. Others failed completely. Still, these foods offered protein without meat and aligned with the hippie belief in natural, unprocessed eating. Yogurt and fresh cheese became staples, eaten with bread, fruit, or honey when available. 5. Wild foraged greens and teas. Food in communes didn't always come from gardens. Many hippies foraged for wild greens, berries, and herbs, guided by books and shared knowledge. Dandelion greens, nettles, and wild herbs were added to meals or brewed into teas. This practice reflected a deep desire to reconnect with nature. But it also came with risk. Not everyone knew what they were doing, and mistakes were made. Still, for many hippies, foraging felt like freedom. Eating from the land was both a necessity and a philosophy. The food eaten in 1970s communes wasn't glamorous, and it wasn't always enjoyable. But it reflected something deeper than taste. These meals were about community, resistance, and the belief that another way of living was possible. Some communes failed. Others quietly dissolved. But the food they shared tells a story about a generation searching for meaning beyond comfort and convenience. If you want to keep exploring how Americans lived outside the mainstream, consider subscribing and staying with us. In the next video, we'll uncover another forgotten chapter of everyday life that history rarely stops to explain.